Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from the United States, English language, released in the year 2017, directed by Patrick Brice, and this film is called Creep 2. So Creep 2 is about this woman. She does a YouTube series called Encounters, where she meets weird people, and she wants this series to explode, but no one's watching it. So she believes that time is up and that she's going to pull the plug on the series after the last episode. But she hopes that this last episode is going to revive the series because she's picked out a very good subject matter. So this subject matter, she met online, and basically this person wants a videographer to document his life, and he's going to pay her $1,000 a day. So she contacts this guy. The guy says, come over and let's meet each other. So this is what she does in a very secluded house, and straight away she thinks that this guy's weird, but she thinks he's harmless enough, and this is exactly what she needs in order to get the fame that she wants. So as the situation starts to progress and more days pass, she starts to realize that she may have passed the point of no return, and in fact her life might be in danger. So whether or not it is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Creep 2. I come into this movie with a lot of excitement, but at the same time a lot of caution. I was a little bit hesitant to watch the movie based on the fact that it's a sequel. And when I saw the trailer, I thought to myself, okay, I've seen everything in this movie that I saw in the first one. Now the first Creep I absolutely loved. I love the idea of Mark Duplass's character just starting off very strange, but not knowing whether or not he's dangerous or in fact harmless, in that you can't judge weird people just because they're a little bit different, and sometimes they're very hard to gauge. So it's basically about first impressions and how first impressions can be a good thing, but at the same time how bad impressions can be a bad thing. So at the start of that movie, I felt as though, okay, I'm judging this guy based on the fact that he's a little bit eccentric, and I feel a little bit guilty for that. But the further you go into the film, the more you start to realize that maybe that first impression was in fact real. And so that's what created that suspense, is because it's from a very subdued performance from Mark Duplass and the videographer, and I thought that chemistry was absolutely fantastic, and I was umming and ahhing about whether the chemistry could actually be emulated in the second one. And unfortunately, the chemistry between those two I thought was very lackluster because of some problems that I had with the movie. But what I liked about the movie was the fact that Mark Duplass does another great performance. This is a much more exaggerated performance, but once again, he has that creepiness, he has that charm, and he also has that lovability about him. He has some moments where he's very funny. I thought that the style of humour to this film was very well done. Mark Duplass and his brother, especially, they have very deadpan humour. I thought deadpan humour was evident in this film, and there were some moments that actually made me chuckle. And so I wasn't expecting that. So it's definitely a dark humour kind of horror film that I thought really did push that horror to a new level as opposed to the first one. So there are some horror set pieces I thought were very creepy, and it's a very violent film as well. I wasn't expecting the levels of violence that I actually got, and that's something I really liked. And I also liked the fact that this is a movie about fame and what you would do in order to get fame, and how desperation can actually lead you to put your life on the line in order to make a buck. And so it's basically like selling your soul to the devil in order to get that fame that you so desperately crave. And it's about what you would do in order to get YouTube clicks, and that some people on YouTube do really crazy things just to get some popularity, and so it can really cloud your judgment. And so the areas in this film where you're constantly saying to yourself, why would you do this? Why are you staying in this guy's company? You can kind of forgive that based on the fact that it is about YouTube views. And so that can cloud your judgment. As I said, in order to make money, you're willing to put your life on the line. And I thought that's very evident in this film. And it's something that makes you think about what people and how easy it is to become famous in today's day and age as far as social media is concerned. So that was an added bonus that I thought was actually fairly well done. And I like the progression of this film. As I said, there are some good moments and there's some very dark moments. And that's everything that you want from Creep. But unfortunately, I just thought to myself, this is something I've seen before, is that this is about a videographer who's actually documenting this guy's life, and it's something that you saw in Creep, the first one, but it's something that was so much, much better done in the first one. It was a lot more subdued, whereas this movie, I felt as though they were there for the sake of the progression of the film, is that this main character, she sees the warning signs, but she keeps on going. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, you're really asking for it, whereas in the first one, as I said, you didn't know whether or not you're being judgmental or in fact you're onto something. But in this movie, it eliminates all that process, and it just becomes a lot more obvious and a much more of a caricature nature. So I didn't really like that at all. I just thought there was no real chemistry between videographer and this main character. I just thought, okay, this is a movie that's recycling stuff that's been done before, but unfortunately it's not doing it as well. And so that was, to me, was the biggest criticism. The ending I thought was somewhat generic, and so I just thought to myself, it's not a terrible film, but unfortunately it's probably a movie that didn't really need to be made, because the first one was so good, but the second one is just, as I said, recycling ideas that have been done in the first one, but unfortunately not as well. So overall, for Creep, I'm still going to recommend it based on the fact that it does have some very entertaining moments, but don't get your hopes up that this is going to be another knockout film. So overall, I'm going to give this movie 2.5 stars. Still go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.